Hey everyone, Sir Irvin Disney here. It is Saturday evening, and first off, I have to issue, I guess you would say an apology, but there's nothing I could do about it, honestly. AJ wasn't feeling well today, so we were not able to film this week's Versus or the video that we're going to shoot about the PGA. We have the PGA and the WGA now, and I believe Tuesday is the DGA, so we'll have all the guilds by the beginning of the week. Once that happens, we'll be able to shoot those videos, but until then, unfortunately, we're not able to. And the Versus we had for tomorrow will have to be postponed. Hopefully just postponed until Monday, but I don't know. It just kind of depends. So, that's the first thing I want to toss out to you guys. Secondly, I want to know what you guys think. For those of you that watch these recaps, this video is about NXT and Smackdown, and they watch my Raw recaps, or watch my pay-per-view recaps, or watch my Impact recaps. I'm curious what you guys really think. Should I continue to call the match almost move for move? Or would you rather just a recap of the high spots and just the finish? Or would you rather see just the finish? Or would you rather me just talk about the match in general? Let me know what you think and leave it in the comments. And I will take everything under advisement. So there you go. So, this is the first edition of NXT and Smackdown for 2014. So, let's talk about it, shall we? We open off the show with, of course, a challenge that was set up last week on NXT from Lana on behalf of Alexander Rusev to Kofi Kingston. So that's our first match of the evening. It's Alexander Rusev against Kofi Kingston. So, a big win for Rusev in this match. Let's talk about it, shall we? So, Lana with a distraction when Kofi went up top. And basically, Rusev picks up Kofi and launches him off the top rope. This allows for the accolade, and that's the submission right there. So you saw a lot of the normal spots from Kofi. He broke out his version of the 5 Moons of Doom. It would be the double chop, standing drop kick, leaping clothesline, and the boom drop. So that was set up. And the 180 flying body press, which got a near fall on Rusev. Big win for Rusev in this match, and submission victory, too. He worked really well against Dolph Ziggler last year at NXT, and it'll be interesting to see if they bring him up in the near future. Now, the rumor mill is spinning, saying that the person that they are the highest on in the NXT roster is not Alexander Rusev, is not Tyler Breeze, is not Sami Zayn, is not Corey Graves. No, it's Mojo Rawley, who I still don't see the big deal about. He kind of reminds me of, okay, if you guys remember back in the day when UPW first was introduced and the world found out about John Cena. It was the UPW documentary. John Cena was one of the big spots when he was the prototype, obviously, when he was first starting out in the business. One of them was also Psycho Matt Hall. Well, Mojo Rawley reminds me of Matt Hall. Honestly, he really does. Excuse me. Blame the sinuses. I'm not really big on this guy at all. There's so many people that have a bigger upside in NXT than this guy, but I mean Emma Page, the women's division. I mean, just excellent, way better than Mojo Rawley. But whatever. I guess he's got something. I don't see it yet. Give me some time. I guess it could be like Biggie Langston, because in Biggie Langston's case, I just remembered calling him Biggie, waste of time. Then I saw him in NXT and I realized he's awesome. And now he's grown on me. Same with what happened with Ryback, even though it's kind of a waning with him. Maybe Mojo Rawley will be the next person like that. Who knows? We'll find out. So Sylvester Lefort is in the back, and he's basically looking for a new protege, obviously. So this superstar I've never seen before, wearing a chain around his neck, his name is Bull Dempsey, he shows up, and Lefort pretty much dismisses him, saying he's too fat. So Mason Ryan shows up, And of course, they've had their issues in the past. And he basically says that he can make Mason Ryan tons of money. Well, he takes the money, which is a $1 bill, and he DiBiase's him, which basically means he just tosses it in his mouth. So our next match was a number 1 contender to the NXT Women's Championship, currently held by Paige. It's Natalya against Emma. This match was really, really good. Great back and forth matchup between these two. And very enjoyable trading submissions back and forth. You have, obviously, Natty came out of the Hart family dungeon, and Emma was trained by Lance Storm. So they both know each other's styles pretty well. And this match was really good and worked really well. We saw the dilemma used in the match, and then we saw at one point there was this inverted surfboard, inverted pull-up surfboard style maneuver that looked phenomenal, where she had Emma on her chest, laying on her stomach, and she stepped in between, kind of like Indian deathlocking, and then she bridged back and pressed up. It looked phenomenal and just stretched her in every single way possible. It was awesome. Eventually, she was double-legged. Natty went for the sharpshooter, and it was countered into an inside cradle, and that gets countered back into the Emma lock, and Natalya tapped out. So big win, huge win, the biggest of her career for Emma, who has come so far in such a short amount of time, going from being just a pretty face that can dance to a legitimate contender to the NXT Women's Championship, currently held by Paige. And Paige and Emma are definitely on a collision course in 2014, and I, for one, am very happy to say that, and to say that the talent in the NXT Women's division are just spectacular. I really enjoy all of them. And I'm telling you right, I'm not big on Charlotte. Never really have been big on Charlotte. I'm not really big on Sasha Banks either, honestly. Paige, Emma, Bayley, I like all of them, and they're all really good in the ring. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the NXT Women's Championship in 2014. So after this, we have a sing-off that was started off last week when Aiden English and Big Cass, Colin Cassidy, got into it. So they decided they wanted to have a sing-off. So that's exactly what we're going to have. And that was our next segment of this show. So Renee Young comes out, and Aiden English comes out without any music, and he says he's basically resting his vocal cords for the big show, the big stage being inside the ring. So he's going to start off with an Italian operetta, which sounded awesome. And Big Cass comes out and sings a version of Danny Boy, which he changed the words to. It's pretty funny, actually. And then the fans vote Colin Cassidy as your winner. Well, Aiden English is like, no, forget this. We're going to do round 2. I'm not losing to him. So Aiden English comes off with he's pulling a little Christian from Moulin Rouge out of his bag of tricks. And what happens this time, Big Cass turns it around with his version of My Girl, which basically was You Suck. And Aiden English didn't take kindly to this and attacked Big Cass, so of course this is leading towards a match between the two. I don't read NXT spoilers, especially because they're taped weeks at advance, so basically I'm going to say that they're going to have a nice little feud in 2014. That's not a big deal because I want to see this happen. It's going to be really good for the two of them, and since Enzo Amore is out with an injury right now, I would say that it's going to give Big Cass something to do. He's gone from somebody being just like a typical meathead to somebody that's got a lot of charisma, and I'm really interested to see where they go with the storyline. Should be interesting. So next week we get a tornado tag match, presumably for the NXT Tag Team Championships with the Ascension, Rick Victor and Connor O'Brien. Oh, I'm sorry, they were now referred to as Victor and Connor. They're going to be defending against Unico and Camacho. Well, since Unico is now Unikara on SmackDown, I think this tag team will probably be very short-lived. And I would say Camacho's no Hernandez, so I think there's a good chance Camacho may be on the unemployment line after WrestleMania. No offense to him, I just don't think he's going to fit into the plans unless they make a singles competitor in 2014 in NXT. So, speaking of people that I don't really find the big deal in. It's Mason Ryan, and Mason Ryan he's better in NXT now since he got out of WWE. It's kind of weird because it's the reverse effect. Mason Ryan was not very good in WWE, but then he got brought back to the NXT roster, off the main roster, and he's a little bit better now, if that makes any sense. Makes sense to me. He's facing off against Tyler Breeze. Of course, Sylvester Laforte's at ringside, and Ryan's got the upper hand, and this allows for a nice distraction. He picks up Tyler Breeze in an over-the-shoulder power slam, drops him throat first across the top rope, and then he slides under the bottom rope and catches Lafort sleeping with a big clothesline on the floor. He gets back in the ring, bing, bang, boom, beauty shot, and 1, 2, 3, Tyler Breeze wins this. So, just a one-off. Just didn't really showcase Tyler Breeze at all, didn't really showcase Mason Ryan at all. Just prolonging the storyline, and apparently it's going to be Mason Ryan feuding with whomever Sylvester Lafort is going to have in his Legionnaires group. So, we'll see what happens with that. So, we've had the announcement last week of the NXT match of the year, and deservedly so. It was Sami Zayn and Antonio Cesaro 2 out of 3 falls. And if you want to hear my call on that match, which I love doing oh so much, August 25th, NXT and Smackdown video on the NXT and Smackdown playlist here on Pop. So, this is a 2 out of 3 falls matchup between Sami Zayn and Leo Kruger, and we'll go midway through the match here. Big European uppercut knocks Sami Zayn all the way to the floor. Momentum just carries him all the way to the floor. He scoop slams him on the floor, tosses him back in at a 7 count, makes a cover 1-2, and Zayn kicks out. 2 stiff European uppercuts. He charges in. He gets caught by Zayn. Exploder suplex into the buckles, and he hits the Olay kick. 1, 2, 3, and wins the first fall. So we come back to live action from commercial break, and they're fighting on the top rope, and a superplex is being countered, and Leo Kruger smartly tosses Sami Zayn to the floor. So Zayn gets in barely at the 10 count, and he gets caught with a DDT, 1-2, and a kick out from Sami Zayn. So he chokes him with the bottom of the foot, and a big time overhand right. Whip in, gets blocked, boot in the midsection, big right hand. Once again, whip in, once more blocked, and 2 stiff European uppercuts. Stun Sami Zayn, whip in, kick to the chest, clothesline, high leg lariat from Zayn, and he ducks the clothesline, and he plants Leo Kruger with the Blue Thunder driver, 1-2, and Kruger kicks out. So he goes up top, he's going for the springboard, he gets caught with a big stiff forearm, and he gets draped over the top rope, and that rope-assisted swing neckbreaker off the top rope. 1-2, again Sami Zayn kicks out. So he goes for the GC3, which the commentators completely miss. And Zayn gets to the bottom ropes, and he goes up top. Kruger again stops him with a forearm, climbs up, goes for a superplex, gets blocked again. He punches, and he knocks him off. Flying body press, misses as Kruger's out of the way, locks on the GC3 in the center of the ring, and there's nowhere for Sami Zayn to go. Nowhere for Sami Zayn to go, but somehow, some way, he valiantly makes that bottom rope and calls for the break. So Kruger pounds away at the top of the head, and 2 overhand rights, and they trade blows with Zayn getting in trouble at this time. He gets pushed into the ropes, does Sami Zayn, and Kruger catches him with a stiff spine buster. And he's going for the long day. He's going for the slice. When he goes for the slice, it gets countered into a flatliner into the Koji clutch, and Kruger has to give it up. So Sami Zayn wins 2-0 over Leo Kruger, and I think this probably ends the Leo Kruger experiment on NXT. I would think this will lead him to being Adam Rose whenever he debuts in NXT on television later this year. I think that it's going to happen, I don't know exactly when, but I know it's happening soon. So Adam Rose will be debuting soon, but Leo Kruger pretty much loses 2 straight, so I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. This show is a mixed bag, it really was. Rusev got a big submission victory over a former Intercontinental Champion in Kofi Kingston, former Tag Team Champion in Kofi Kingston, former United States Champion in Kofi Kingston. He's held all the secondary titles in WWE. And it's a big win for Rusev, big feather in his cap. Emma beats Natalya, which is a big upset right there, and furthermore solidifies the fact that she is the #1 contender to Paige's NXT Women's Championship, and that is a good thing. We're going to continue the feud with Aiden English and Big Cass. Colin Cassidy. Since Enzo Amore is going to be off television for the foreseeable future, I say this is going to lead us into 2014. Next week, we've got the Ascension against Unico and Camacho. Tornado Rules. Tyler Breeze beats Mason Ryan with the help of Sylvester Laforte's distraction, which really wasn't his distraction. It was just, he just distracted Mason Ryan because he was pretty much jilted given the fact that he got a $1 bill stuck in his mouth. And another entertaining main event between Sami Zayn and Leo Kruger. Kruger losing 2 straight. So that was NXT this week. So we go into the Smackdown show. And we got the Usos against the Shield. So, and you have the normalcy in the match. And Roman Reigns gets tossed to the floor. They go for the Samoan suicide dive. Ambrose stops him, and that calls for the DQ. So they got the upper hand. CM Punk runs out for the save. He tosses Ambrose, and he tosses Seth Rollins. So Vicky comes out and makes a 6-man as the Usos clear Roman Reigns out of the ring. So our main event is going to be the Usos and CM Punk against the Shield. Our next match ended up being R-Truth with Xavier Woods on commentary, taking on Fandango with the stunning Summer Rae in his corner. So Fandango ends up hitting a snap suplex with a chin lock with a knee in the lower back. Locks on a regular chin lock. Truth punches his way out. Comes off the ropes. High leg lariat by Truth. And then clothesline. He charges in. Fandango gets the boot up. And Xavier Woods gets up on the table just like he did on Raw to distract Brodus Clay. And that brings out the Funkadactyls. Xavier's got JBL's cowboy hat on for some reason. So Fandango is basically just distracted just long enough for him to miss a shot. Split-legged duck under. And the little Jimmy off the ropes, and that's all she wrote. Truth wins this match. I don't know. I thought they were pushing Fandango, and he loses to R-Truth. Okay. I think we get Fandango against Xavier Woods on Raw Monday night, if I had to guess. I think that would actually make good sense. And I don't have a problem with that being a feud if you want to go that direction, but I thought there was going to be a lot of feuds for Fandango, and there really hasn't been. So he's still trying to find his sea legs at this point. We get the Brotherhood, Goldust and Cody Rhodes, the current reigning and defending WWE Tag Team Champions, once more defending against Eric Rowan and Luke Harper of the Wyatt family. Bray Wyatt, conspicuous by his absence. His rocking chair is at the bottom of the ramp, but he is nowhere to be found. So, this match actually was pretty good. It's a high, fast-paced finish of the match. So, a big boot on Cody, and they put him on the top turnbuckle. He climbs up, and it looks like he's going to try to me it looks like he's going to try to like Tiger suplex him off the top rope. Obviously we'll never know because that was just a setup for the finish. And he gets elbowed off. Cody hits this huge moonsault on Luke Harper, tagging Eric Rowan. Hot tagging to Goldust is stopped because they put on the brakes. Whip in, ducks the clothesline, and blind tag to Goldust. He ducks the axe handle, back body drop on Cody, and Goldust rolls up Eric Rowan, 1, 2, 3. So, another good match between these two, and still leading towards them losing the WWE Tag Team Championships to the Wyatt family at the Royal Rumble, or right before. I think when they lose the titles to the Wyatts at the Rumble, I think it's also going to start the dissension, and I think Goldust is going to eliminate Cody, and that's going to start the dissension, which is going to lead to the Rhodes battle with Dusty as the special guest referee at WrestleMania 30, and that should have been the end game all along, and I'm pretty sure it will be. So, Oksana faces Nikki Bella in a match that it wasn't half bad, but it wasn't great either, so Nikki basically ends up hitting a knee lift and a monkey flip, big clothesline off the ropes, and a standing drop kick, boot in the midsection, face buster, 1-2, Oksana kicks out, and whip in reverse. She charges in, and she misses, hits the buckle, picks her up in the over-the-shoulder backbreaker, the Argentinian backbreaker, the torture rack, depending on what you want to call it. And she knees out with it, and that's all she wrote. So Nikki Bella wins the match. Not much of a reaction for Nikki. Not really. No reaction for Oksana. So yeah, back to square one. It was an okay match for what it was. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible either. So we get a non-title match, Intercontinental Champion Big E Langston against Curtis Axel. We can't seem to buy a break at this point. So Big E hits his finishing sequence, which is clothesline, duck Axel's clothesline, and high belly-to-belly suplex. Nails that monumental big splash on the lower back, which he gets like 35 feet in the air. Obviously it's not, but I mean, it's pretty high. And he goes for the big ending, and Axel goes to the eyes, goes under the back, and he lands on the ring apron. A neck snap brings him back into it momentarily, and he gets caught with a huge, monstrous clothesline from Big E. He drops the straps and duns Axel's party with the big ending. 1, 2, 3. So, just another television match. Big E Langston winning another contest that really wasn't one-sided. It was kind of back and forth, but it's just your typical TV match. So there. Bad News Barrett is up on his podium, and it rises above the stage. He's got his gavel, and of course, he says, the New Year's upon us, and everyone, of course, is making New Year's resolutions. I got some bad news for you. None of you will stick to your resolutions. By this time next year, you will still be just as fat, you will still be just as unhealthy, and you will still be just as unproductive. Happy New Year. I love Wade Barrett, but I wish they'd at least let him wrestle if they're going to let him cut promos. But he's getting television time, which is better than nothing. We get to our main event. It's The Shield against CM Punk and the Usos. Once again, I watched this in an odd way with almost no commentary, and to this day, I still can't tell Jimmy and Jay apart unless somebody tells me first. I'm sorry. I used to be like a tattoo on the upper chest, but I can't tell them apart. I feel bad about that, but I'm sorry. It's just a fact of life. So I like the finishing sequence in this match too. So we go to the end of the match, and basically Punk gets tagged in the ring. Springboard clothesline on Seth Rollins, and he Yakuza kicks Dean Ambrose off the ring apron, ducks the clothesline, high leg lariat, and the spinning neck breaker on Rollins. The running knee, the short arm clothesline, goes up top for the Macho Man Randy Savage elbow, and of course, this allows for Ambrose to get on the apron, which provides just a distraction for Punk to get crotched on the top rope, and he falls to the canvas below. So Rollins goes up top, goes for the flying body press, gets countered into the Anaconda device. Ambrose makes the save, and Usos get in, and Roman Reigns gets in, and a Superman punch on one of the Usos, and a tag into Ambrose. He's now the legal man. So he puts Punk on the top turnbuckle, nails the double underhook superplex, or butterfly superplex, depending on how you want to call it. 1, 2, and Punk kicks out. He nails the high kick, goes for the go to sleep. Roman Reigns pulls Dean Ambrose off, and he gets nailed with a high kick of his own. So a double savate kick by the Usos, knocked down Roman momentarily, sends him to the floor, and Punk with back body drop Seth Rollins onto Roman Reigns. Double Samoan suicide dive on the Shield on the floor. Ambrose goes for a clothesline. Punk ducks it. Go to sleep. 1, 2, 3. So the Usos and CM Punk win this match. Good television main event for these 6 competitors. And as always, the Shield continue their history of great 6-man tag team matches in WWE, this time in 2014. So right before the show is about to end, Bray Wyatt cuts a promo and basically says, as of what happened on Monday night to Daniel Bryan, he says, now he has a home. Your words mean nothing to him now. He kept saying it over again. He kept saying it and repeating it over and over again. Now he has a home. Now he has a home. Given the fact that Daniel Bryan has joined the Wyatt family on Raw. Interesting to see where we go from here. So that was NXT and Smackdown in a nutshell. And a very short video. Sorry about that. If you like how the videos are going with the way we did it today, just like talking about like a couple spots in the finish, then I'll keep doing that. If you'd like me to just call move for move like I have been, I can do that. If you want me to just talk about the match without like mentioning anything except for the finish, I can do that too. So I am more than qualified to do any of the 3 that I just mentioned. So just let me know. And if you want to let me know, it's an easy way to do it. You can leave a comment. You can do that and let me know what you think about how I should go into wrestling recaps from now on, especially in a brand new year. And as always, if you like this video or you like any of these videos on Pop, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, and help spread the word about Pop. We are nearing 300 subscribers and over 22,000 views, and that's a little bit over a year. So thank you guys and girls out there for helping us get to such a large number in such a short amount of time. So another way you can spread the word, if you'd like to, like us on Facebook. We have a Facebook fan page. It's Suro and Disney Pop. Well, you can like us on Facebook. If you want to go with the other route on Facebook, you can be my friend. It's Owen Disney. And finally, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Suro and Disney. And last but certainly not least, if you want to send your thoughts, comments, queries, and opinions about NXT, about Smackdown, about WWE, about Impact, about Disney, Universal, anything under the sun, anything you want to see on Pop, you want to talk about verses you'd like to see, reviews you'd like to see, by all means, send me an email, suroanddisney@gmail.com. In the meantime, thank you guys and girls up there for watching, and I'm actually going to go and have me some dinner. So until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.